Definitely not too early to start drinking, right?
What we did is redid all of our shelves.
Lucky Crown is when it faces straight up.
Decided to fly out here and meet up.
Pretty good for its age.
I gotta make sure it matches the chain.
I don't want to do those times.
Don't worry, I got your back. We got 2 of them.
This is the way we shop for watches.
Just put your girlfriend on blast.
You can't go wrong with these.
17.5. Let's see if you can bring it home.
Of course, they could fake all of that, so.
Yeah, I think I came here. You helped me out with the blue sub, actually, the Smurf.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
from Daniel, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a minute then, for sure. How's everything going?
Everything's going good, dude.
Good,
How about
good.
yourself?
Everything's going, man. We're still pushing forward, and you know, we're having a lot of fun here right now. The market's down, but you know, everything's still moving. We're still having a lot of fun doing what we're doing. So.
Well, that's good then.
Yeah.
As long as you have fun, that's all that matters, right?
Yeah. That's an interesting Cartier. That's a manual wine, right?
The manual one, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah. It was actually a gift.
Really?
Yeah, so that's why I actually like it a lot. It's so light and
It's
just
super
kind of
light and thin, right?
Yeah,
And it's manual wine. And
yeah, because actually my first watch was actually a Cartier too, so that's why kind of getting back to it.
Okay, cool. Well,
Yeah.
the watch that we got for you is sort of similar. Let me grab it.
Okay. I appreciate you finding that watch so fast.
Oh
Yeah, 'cause like I said, it was one of our partners' birthday. It was actually last week, and we was like 2 days right before we wanted to give it to him. We're like, we need to find him something.
Yeah. Here, let's start the client room.
Okay.
Hold on.
Would you like a drink or anything?
No, I'm good. I appreciate it. Yeah.
It's definitely not too early to start drinking, right?
Oh, that's right. Oh, I'm actually originally from New Orleans, so
New Orleans?
so we drank quite early over there.
Well, let me show you the watch. This is a brand new Oyster Flex Yachtmaster. Cool. We had the yellow one not too long ago.
I know it's funny. I think after when I put you got it for me, I watched one of your videos, and I saw that you actually was doing an unboxing or something like that. Yeah.
We have the yellow gold. Oh, the strap. That's kind of a gamble.
Yeah, I know.
Believe it or not, I've sent clients to Rolex, and Rolex has been able to just swap them out.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay.
And something they might charge you. I'm not really sure, but if that's the case, then you'll just have to have an extra strap, or we could even sell the straps.
I might have a contact as well too, because we actually bought one for one of our other partners, the rose gold one.
Yeah.
So all they did, they just asked us to send us back the strap, and they swapped ours for free.
Either way, I'll help you find
Okay.
it.
Yeah. Great. How much does usually straps go for?
In the secondary market, I want to say between $375 to $450 each side. It could be like $900 if we had to replace both, but I don't think you have to replace both. I think
probably just one side. Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like if you just get this side down, which I wish we stocked these, but they're just hard to find.
Break out some scissors, Mark.
It's not a Patek 5167, otherwise I would.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're all good to go, man.
Okay.
Like, you know, if you need anything else from us.
Yeah, most definitely, because actually one of our other partners' actually birthday is next month, so we might be looking for something as well too for him.
Okay, what are you looking for?
But like his style been changing a lot lately.
Oh, really?
He's been into a lot to like leather bands lately.
Okay,
Yeah,
leather
so
bands.
Yeah.
Maybe Skyroller on leather bands.
He don't like leather. It's too top heavy for him.
Or, you can go with the Cellini.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That right there.
Yeah, the Cellini or whatever, the Moon Phase, which is really nice. That
If
comes
not,
on leather.
if not, we might probably get one of these as well too, so we can kind of walk. Cause he actually do own a boat, so he go on a boat every weekend. And like I said, I appreciate you sourcing it out me so quickly too.
Of course, man. Yeah. Happy to help.
Thank you, sir, very much.
Yeah. Enjoy it, and
most definitely.
let me. If you have any issues finding the strap, man, just let me know.
I will.
We'll definitely get together on that.
You haven't been here since I redid this room.
No, this is great.
It's therapeutic for me to clean up the space. So what we did is redid all of our shelves. So you have brands alphabetically, long A all the way down to Hublot, and then over here IWC down to Panerai, so it's somewhat alphabetical. Tag all the way down to Zenith, and then this is the Holy Trinity. So for those who don't know, Audemars Piguet, Patek, Vacheron. This looks so bearish in terms of there's not a lot of watches, but believe it or not, we have probably about 110 watches in our inventory. I mean, when you start adding these boxes up here, all of these boxes, there's a crap ton that's hidden behind here. It actually adds up, and you know, we also have watches that are watch only, and you saw the safe that Marco was working at. There's a bunch of watches in there. So even though it doesn't look like there's a lot here, we still have over 100 watches in inventory. But what this does tell me is what you said, Matt, that this is built to scale. I'm all about scalability, baby. Scalability. So hopefully one day all of these shelves are full. And if that happens, maybe we got to find a bigger spot. People hate that. Maybe we just need to expand next door where we actually have more room.
Yeah, we'll kick the wall down.
Yeah, just...
So we've noticed a lot of people wanting to know what we have have in the showroom. Obviously, when we're taking phone calls and kind of heading in and out of the office, you don't really see what we have here. And the website doesn't always update things because they come in and out so quick. So right now, I kind of want to show you what is in the Showroom Showcase, a new little segment we're creating here. We're just gonna actually show you what's in our showcase.
Right on.
Let's take a look. A couple like key points or some highlighted ones that I think would be kind of nice to show. One is the sleeper watch. You don't see it very often when you're kind of out and about. A Rolex Sea Dweller. It's a two-tone. It's the 126603. So it's two-toned in yellow gold. This is a 2021 complete set, really clean. I don't know if you can see. There's a couple of hairlines on the gold. Obviously, it being a precious metal, it's pretty soft. It gets scratched really easily. But this is a really nice one. It is obviously a Sea Dweller, but just wrapped in some gold, so it has a little bit more pop to it. We got this cool new Rolex trays. I don't even know how much these cost, so I'm trying to be careful here. I'm gonna set these down. I'm gonna get a couple more watches out. Oh, I want to point out something. This is something that not a lot of people know about. Rolex sets the crowns on these watches, and they just literally set them in, and however they screw on, they screw on. So some of them are facing north, south, east, west, but a lucky crown is when it faces straight up, so basically north. That one is, it's kind of a slider on the lucky crown side. You can see it's basically facing straight up. That one might need to be tightened a little bit, and it might be lucky crown.
Yeah, just crank on it.
Yeah, we got the wrap one. So lucky crown is when it faces straight up. So that's kind of a cool little hidden Easter egg that some people get. I always try to get them with lucky crowns, but as you can see, I'm not very good at it. This one's facing not quite straight up. So here's another cool one, obviously a fan favorite. I was responding to everybody in the comments if they would go Batgirl or Pepsi, and I was honestly all about the Pepsi. That was one of my favorite like grail watches I wanted to get for an everyday piece, but I've actually decided I'm going Batgirl, and I decided to keep this and actually upgrade it to a newer year. But this is a great piece. I had it on the wrist for a while, not this exact one, but the Pepsi, and ultimately I just went Batgirl. But this is a brand new one. It's a 2022 fresh date. I think it's September. 20,000 complete set for a 126710 BLRO. Obviously on Jubilee, brand new. This thing doesn't have a scratch on it. We obviously wrapped it up so it's protected. Really, really cool piece. This is definitely an eye catcher. So when I first got into watches, obviously one of the first brands you really start to learn a lot about is Omega. And this is just an iconic piece. A Seamaster. I mean, you can't go wrong with that white dial. So I love how it has that little wave pattern in there. We got this one on the bracelet. This is a 2021 and we are selling it for $4,500. So that is the wire price. Obviously tax is applicable to certain states. This is a great piece if it's your first watch you're getting into, or if you just want something to kind of beat up as your daily and, you know, take it to the gym or, you know, take it out to the beach a little more often, I would definitely suggest this. At $4,500, you're paying below retail, and this watch is extremely mint. It is really, really clean. I would say the reference number, but I don't know it because it's like 30 digits long. I don't know why Omega makes them that way, but it is a 42 millimeter ceramic bezel. So that's a great, great piece. You get a lot of watch for the money. You get a date and the time.
And full set?
Yeah, full set, 2021, box papers, all that. Oh, another cool thing about these Omegas is they're so cool on those NATO straps. Obviously, Omega sells them that way. I would always get it on the bracelet just because you get the most money for resale on that. But those NATO straps, you know, 200 to 400 bucks depending on which one you're getting, and it really complements the watch. You can throw new ones on weekly, so it's definitely a good piece to kind of keep fresh. So let's look for another piece. Let's go
Seiko.
Yeah, let's go Seiko. One of my absolute favorites in here is the 413. So it has the snowflake dial. Obviously you can see the thing is gorgeous. One of the absolute coolest pieces Grand Seiko makes. I've always wanted to own one of these. It's a titanium, so it's kind of one of those tricky pieces. It's really light, so it almost feels kind of cheap. It's stronger than steel and it's corrosion resistant. So this thing is meant to go in salt water. You can wear this in the pool. Nothing will ever happen. No oxidation or anything like that. It's a great piece. Obviously it's light as a feather. Be careful once it's on your wrist. It's easy to scratch just because how light it is.
Let's see the buckle.
So right here, you got this buckle. It has a double clasp on here. So this is a really, really nice piece. Open it up. Obviously it's a complete set here. This is brand new. I believe it's a 2022 and we are selling it for $5,200. So that's kind of unheard of. I think wholesale is like $5,000 on this thing. So $5,200, you're pretty much paying wholesale pricing here, which is absolutely crazy. Great, great piece. One of those ones that if you're looking to extend your collection, gotta have a Grand Seiko. And if you're getting a Grand Seiko, it might as well be the snowflake dial. It's just, I mean, it speaks for itself. We just showed you a bunch of sports models, two-tone to stainless steel to titanium even. So I kind of want to end something with a little bit more class to it, something that maybe you take out to a dinner or to like a nice wedding. No better than, obviously, a Patek. So this is the 6119R. It's a Patek Philippe, or Patek Philippe, however you want to say it. This watch is cased in a gold, which is extremely nice. Obviously, you got the nice leather band, and then you got a nice little gold buckle right there. Brand new. This watch is, I mean, just look at that. I mean, you can tell for yourself. I don't know if it needs much more explanation. This is a piece that once it's on your wrist, it's gonna be hard to stop staring at. Absolutely a true gem. So relatively speaking, in the Patek world, this is actually pretty affordable at $31,500. Get yourself a brand new piece, something that obviously you can show to anybody, and it just has a whole class of its own. Glad we have it in the showroom. It's not one that we see very often, so I don't know how long it will be here, but yeah, wire price at $31,500, and this could be yours, shipped and delivered. Look how thin that is.
Yeah.
I mean, that thing is just microscopically thin. That's crazy. That's crazy engineering that goes behind something like this. A true stunner, something that holds obviously a class of its own. So I would, ranking amongst those watches, I mean, obviously this one's gonna kind of take the cake. It's a nice dress watch. This is one that, I don't know, whatever member you ever create in this thing, whether it being at weddings or with your friends at shows or, you know, traveling with it, it's one of those watches that will always have a spot in your heart. Cool, so that was what we got for Showroom Showcase. So let us know what you think, if it's something you want to see every week. It was a good time showing you guys some stuff. So I kind of want to end it out here, what we got on the tray. So give us the wire price. Obviously put it under my name so I get the commission for it. So, these are all could be anybody's.
This is Eric. He flew all the way in from Miami.
Yes, sir.
I got his resume here. I can't show you. We've had about 34 applications. I've been on interviews all day, but this is the first guy that decided to fly out here and meet us.
It's the way to do business, man.
Yeah, I like it. So I'm glad
Looking
you-
sharp, by the way.
Brought the Miami flavor. You
Right
know?
on.
We have about 2,500 square feet over here, and then behind that blue wall, we have another 5,000 or so square feet.
And that's where you be working out of, right?
Yeah, I'm over in the back. Our photography team's in the back as well. Originally, we had the idea of doing a big build out, knocking that wall down, making it super nice. We got it quoted. It was like a $2 million build out.
Wow.
Yeah, it was going to be very nice. Yes, but given where the economy is, where the market's at, we're gonna hold off on that.
Yeah.
We might do some small things, like I've said. I want to refloor. Ideally, we knock this wall down and make this one larger showroom. But honestly, we're getting so much business right now that the money's it's being worked.
Yeah.
Money comes in and then money goes out. It's sourcing watches, buying watches. I mean, I don't know how closely you guys seen, but our inventory room has a lot more inventory than it did about a month ago.
Huge. Yeah, I remember one whole side was empty.
Yeah, one whole size empty. Now we have all of that, and then in the next 3 to 4 weeks, we're gonna have jewelry and high-end jewelry. So we're moving into there's 4 specific brands that we want to work with. Now we're not authorized dealers. We're just gonna carry them. It's gonna be Tiffany & Co., Cartier, Van Cleef, and Harry Winston. So high-end brands. But,
Beautiful.
yeah, I'm gonna take this guy, give him a good interview, grill him, see how he holds up.
Let's do it. Appreciate
Let's
you.
do it.
Yes, sir.
This is the way we shop for watches. We put them on, we go up to the mirror, and we just hold our chin.
You know, I gotta make sure it matches the chain. You know?
It does.
Yeah.
It obviously does. So he's got my personal watch. I own this watch, and he
Yeah.
wants to buy it from me.
Yeah, we may have to make something happen.
I like the way Vic does business. He just runs up to me. He's like, "I'm gonna do this,"
and
and it's like, and it's some screwed up deal. I'm like, "Oh, we are," and I'm like, we'll figure that out."
Yeah.
There's a way around that.
For the people that question whether or not they can pull off a 36,
Okay.
I'm 5'11", right at 200 pounds. I mean, that's how it looks on me. I do have relatively, not even small wrist, average,
Yeah.
about 7 1/4. But that's how that looks. On my person, I don't think they look bad. I think everybody's going bigger nowadays, so it's just, it depends on who you ask. But you guys can pull it off if, especially a good entry piece. You can't go wrong with these.
Yeah, size doesn't matter.
Not at all, to some people.
Let's do it. Done deal with that, right? Under those terms and conditions.
I don't want to do those terms. I can sell this watch for 17 right now.
I sold my Batgirl, but I like it too much, so I'm gonna replace it. Grand Caliber has a pretty good one, so I'm just moving the cost into the other one.
So I have one that our cost, technically what we're netting the consignor is 16.1. And I'm trying to get 16.6 out of it just to make $500, but he's beating me up for $100.
Just put your girlfriend on blast.
Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. That was probably supposed to be off camera.
Yeah, don't do that. So I told him if I take $100 off, he needs to buy his girlfriend a cookbook. So
That's a win-win.
he said he would.
That's a win-win.
Well, if she gets a cookbook, did we get some sampling?
That's what I'm saying. She would bring in more food.
I'm open to that, but I like reliable. Oh, he's gonna come pick it up?
Yeah, I mean, you say get it gone, so I just kind of use that as leverage because bro, a while ago I was
You don't
like,
think we
hey,
can push for 17.5? All about persistence in sales, right?
man, look, it is.
17.5. Let's see if you can bring it home.
I'm trying to think how to word this because I already asked him if we can do do 17.3.
Oh, you already did?
Yeah,
All right.
that's because I'm trying to get it going.
All right, let's do 17.
No, all you gotta do is just kidding. Then say whatever you want.
Psych.
Nah.
Pivot.
I mean, look, we try to get money out of it. I know you wanted it gone. And we even at one point was like, you know what, at cost.
All right, 17.3. Just get it out.
Yeah.
I want that money working.
Yeah. He has to deliver 2 watches,
Okay.
and he's picking up funds, and he's gonna pay us out on that root beer.
Okay.
So he's gonna just leave 2 watches for collateral. I'm about to make some stuff happen, man. I feel a lot of deals coming, a lot of deals happen.
Hey,
you know?
we have a competitive team here.
Yeah.
All right, so what did you guys agree to?
He's gonna pay 16.5.
Yeah, but I'll buy it regardless if my backup sells or
Because
not.
before I was like, I'm not shaking your hand because I'm a contingent on another guy buying your watch, and I was like,
16.5?
Yeah, 16.5.
yeah, so
Done
it's
deal.
like whatever.
Boom, boom. Deal's done.
Yeah,
Look at that, buying and selling all day.
Mine is all.
I love it.
All right,
Okay,
yeah.
so this is all stuff that was in the photography safe?
Well,
To
you
be
know,
photographed?
we had it separated over here, but Mark would then combine it all.
Okay.
So we have to figure out what has sold and what hasn't,
Okay.
and then what needs to go into photography and what is actually sold.
Okay,
Oh, good thing we put sticky notes on them.
right. I
That's
think
sold, that's
today's a
sold.
good day for the
is
sales
sold.
guys to revisit what hasn't been photographed so
Okay.
they know what is for sale.
Okay. I think this is all inventory, and this is what we sold.
Okay.
These are all sold.
Okay, cool.
You guys want to get that? I'll
Yes,
work on
please.
this.
All right, first watch we're gonna look at today is a Rolex 41mm Datejust 41. Definitely pre-owned. Fans, it's pretty good for its age. Golly, somebody wore the crap out of this watch. It's just got dings all throughout. Definitely needs a polish. Some people just really wear their watches. I mean, they really wear them. Okay, looks good. I mean, other than that, yeah, you can always tell right away. Rolex movement when you wind it, it just has this certain feel. 126333 yellow gold Jubilee black dial watch only. Watch has definitely been worn, definitely have seen some better days, but yeah, this watch is good to go. Everything checks out on it. You know, I get people asking me a lot, like, how do you know the movement wasn't swapped out? I mean, there's a lot of tells that the movement definitely wasn't swapped out. I mean, one, there's just not a lot of movements out there floating around that would even fit the case properly, and two, if that was the case, I would already notice the hands wouldn't be correct, the date wheel wouldn't be correct, the way it even winds wouldn't be correct. There would be a lot of aspects about the watch that just wouldn't be right. And most likely at that point, they're gonna pass you a fake watch altogether and not just take a movement out. Next watch. We got a silver date. You guys out there that don't know the difference between the date and the Datejust, it's simply just the size. The date models are 34mm and the Datejust is gonna be a 36 through 41. This watch utilizes a 31-35. They haven't upgraded this one to the 32-35 yet. I'm sure they will. Very greasy. I mean, that is insanely greasy. All right, we're back. So let's see if I can actually see. Yeah, it's a lot better. Like new, slider, whatever you guys want to call it. Complete box papers with tags. Watch looks fine to me. Matt, when are you gonna start authenticating watches? We gotta teach you how to do it.
The next time we'll let me
Next
do
time,
it.
start having you authenticate. 126622 rhodium. This is a nice watch. Yachtmaster, I believe this came in on a sold order. It's definitely pre-owned. Very dirty as well. This just has grime and grime. I mean, it looks like just human grime just all over it. Guys, don't be afraid to take a toothbrush with soap and water, warm soap and water to your watch. It's totally safe. I'd recommend doing that once a week, and it'll just keep that watch like looking good too. It like just keeps that layer of grime off the watch, because believe it or not, that layer of grime affects the way the watch looks overall. If I took a toothbrush to this watch and cleaned it, it's gonna be a totally different watch. It's gonna come alive. This is odd. It's like the top of the hand has like a bunch of little indentions. It's definitely imperfect, but the watch itself looks okay.
Like tooling marks on the hour hand?
No, it's like pitting. You know when the metal
Yeah.
has pitting? I'm sure you guys already know this. If you take a new Rolex card, like that, and you go like that, it actually brings up. So have you seen that?
Yeah. So I'm guessing the fake cards don't do
Um,
that.
That's debatable. We don't know yet. I mean, it's just a simple RFID chip, so of course they could fake all of that. So the old style card, you just want to look for the security features with a UV light. Next watch, Explorer 2, 22657L Explorer 2. Pre-owned. As you guys know, this is the new current reference of the Explorer 2, which utilizes a newer movement. It utilizes different case features. They slimmed down the lugs and put they put a wider bracelet on it, I believe. It looks good. I mean, I really like it. There's more watch to it. It's almost like they're going back to their roots. Looks good. Definitely looks used.
Talk about the lugs on the new one.
They're just skinnier. Like they taper in to a finer point than the older ones, where they kind of flared out more. The crown guards are also something that they kind of redefined a little bit. They've kind of made them a little smaller. Not too much. You really can't notice it too much, but it's definitely there. That movement also has that 72-hour power reserve as opposed to the 216570. And the buckle's wider. I mean, that is a wide buckle. Current market value of these are right now kind of holding around 11.5 retail to 12 for pre-owned. White dials are still like 12 plus to 13, 13.5. I think the white's just my favorite though. I'll show you guys something special here in a second regarding Explorer 2s. Last modern piece, 126334, Datejust 41 blue stick. This is a classic right now, like a modern, I would call it a modern classic in a sense, but this watch is one of the best Datejusts you can just buy. I mean, it's such a well-rounded watch with a very, very pretty blue dial. Obviously very, very used, very dirty. This one's never been polished, but it needs it bad. Some of these polishing guys we have, I mean, they're just amazing. Golly, man, people really need to learn how to wash their watches. I want to show you this here. You see how nasty that is?
It's full of cheese, yeah.
Yeah, you want to, what kind of cheese do you think it is?
The from under.
From under. Don't be afraid to use soap and water on these watches. They definitely can resist some water. They are very, very much watertight watches. So this one's good for like 300 feet. Into some fun stuff. I am putting this bad boy up for sale. So if you guys are really, really interested, reach out to me direct. This is a 1961 exclamation dial GMT. You guys have seen me explain this watch before. 100% original watch, you know, really clean. It just kind of needs a few minor things to make it perfect. I'm going to get the crystal touched up, just kind of get it buffed out because it's getting kind of scratched up on the surface. Other than that, I mean, it's running nice. Well, I take that back. So I forgot. This watch has a it has a top of a movement. It's running really, really fast. I'm actually going to send it off. So if you do buy the watch, I will pay for a overhaul in the movement and I will cover that for a year. It's up for sale, so I'll get it through. We'll get it shot, put up on the website, and then I'll be posting it through Instagram and some other places, so check it out. This is a watch that was offered to me personally that I might take. It is a Explorer 2, but not just any Explorer 2. I haven't seen it yet, so this is what they call the cream dial. Let's take a look. It is true unpolished. This thing's like insanely nice. A really nice cream dial Explorer will almost have like this kind of color to it. It's really going to be more like straight, like almost like this. It's not really far off, but it's not quite there. When it gets to like this type of color, that's when the values really starts peaking. So I would evaluate this watch retail probably like high teens. You know, if it was more so on the strong yellow side or more really heavy cream side, it would be definitely like up there in the 30s. I've seen some really nice examples that are just incredible, but this watch, it's definitely turning. This watch has never been polished, and this is a 1986 if I'm not mistaken. It's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. It's gonna make a good watch for somebody.
Yeah, you know, and the trick is to just leave it in the safe. You don't, if you want these things to color up even more, you just leave them in the dark for as long as you can.
Just collect it, yeah.
Yeah, you just let them sit. This thing will keep turning. You know, the sun's not gonna make this any creamier. It just needs time.
Is it complete with the?
Yeah, it's got
everything,
papers. Yeah, this is
full
box
set.
papers. You know, the whole 9 yards. It's not dated. So, but the serial number is 9.3, so that's like 1986, 85, 86. Rolex code right there. You can actually break it down. So you just type in, how do we do that?
Rolex watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
let's break it down. You want to?
Yeah.
There you go. So that's how we broke it down. R is 1. R, you see it's kind of spaced out. So that's 2. So that's 12. And then you got ETW. So E is 4, T 8, W 6. 12/4/1986. That's pretty cool.
It's really cool.
That's really neat.
Somebody's jumping up and down for birthday.
Hey, if you were born 12/4/1986, I got your watch. So this was a fun watch to find. Took me a long time. A client and I were working together on this. He wanted a birth year. Speaking of birth years, he wanted a birth year Daytona. So this client was born in 1974. This is his watch. It is a 6263 1974 Sigma dial, and it is it's quite special. If you guys don't understand Sigma, so Sigma, if you can zoom in on the dial, what Sigma means is it is those 2 little round dots right next to T Swiss T. So that is an indication that Rolex is actually using white gold markers and white gold hands on this watch as opposed to steel, because before then they were using steel for cost to save costs, but then they started switching to white gold later on, and then now that's what their standard of watchmaking, that's what they use now.
Look at the tape around that bracelet.
Definitely pretty skinny at the end. Cool watch, Valjo 727. You know, I'm gonna inspect this watch. This one I'm gonna have to inspect for quite a while. Has a Mark 1 bezel in excellent condition, which Mark 1 bezels are also very, very expensive and very hard to find. Don't see any issues whatsoever. No missing loom, no abnormal wear and tear. I mean, you're gonna find some typical wear and tear on the dial, but nothing that says this watch has seen a tough life. But it's in really excellent condition. Everything is matching. I gotta get this thing on the time graph, make sure it's running good. I just love that sound.
Definitely more audible than some of the more modern stuff,
Yeah, you don't get it. You don't get that from a modern watch. You don't get that love. It's got original pushers, P301. It's all correct. All right, so I got a client waiting for me, so I'm gonna leave you to it. Be right back.
All right, Alfredo, what you got, man?
I'm just gonna open it. I don't know. It's something from the
sir.
almighty
No,
parts god. I bought some trays from him already, but
Come on, man, rip it open like a spider monkey.
that's what they used to call me in my hometown, but without the spider.
Yeah, I was
These are nice. Oh, Rolex trays.
that is
Authentic. What do you think,
Oh
Marco?
yeah, the Rolex display cases. I wouldn't really know much about these because I never go to ADs, but
Now, it does smell just like a new box, right?
yeah, it smells pretty good.
Give it back. You don't give a fuck.
Get the fuck out of here.
If any sales rep takes this thing out of the showroom, I will freaking murder them. Rolex gloves goes with the Rolex case. There you go. I don't know what this is. This came out of Marco's backpack.
Yeah, this is top shelf, isn't it?
Yeah, this is nice. Straight from Rolex.
Yes.
All right, make it look nice and official. Come a long way.
All right, Matt, you were asking me what am I doing with this watch. Looks like I'm gonna keep it.
Nice, man. Congrats.
So, I think so. We'll see. I haven't called Acceler yet because there's a couple of not really concerns. I just want to go over some facts. Like these really do go up in value whenever the cream, let's call it the crema, is very present. Which this one really has more. It's more on the white. Actually, it kind of looks like these blinds. Is it close?
It's closer than it is to just stark white, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not white. I mean, this is
Smoke a
definitely.
bunch of cigarettes around it, we'll get it creamed up.
Cigarettes? That's not grandma's recipe to getting the perfect dial. It's olive oil. You coat it in olive oil, stick it in the oven. At 125. 30-minute intervals till desired crema. That's how the Italians do it over in Italy. So I'm told. I don't know. People are out there thinking that people are manipulating this shit, and I don't know. I can't say, but I mean, if I have seen physically, I have seen a manipulated cream dial, but you could tell when you manipulate these dials, it always inherently causes damage. You're gonna damage something. So like last time I saw one, it was very heavy cream colored, but you could just tell there was like some very weird things going on with the tritium on the dial. There was like the hands weren't in good shape anymore, and it just looked too fabricated. And this, this is a very honest, you can tell this is a very honest cream dial. This case is just absurd. Like if you can see,
Oh yeah.
it's never ever been polished. It looks like it was ever hardly worn. Look at this. Like every time I move this, it doesn't move. It sticks. Like it's so
not even broken, is it?
I'm just gonna throw it in my safe and let it ride for a little while. I might sell. I mean, you guys know me. I'm just gonna sell. I'm gonna buy and sell my vintage pieces so I can just keep myself entertained. That's for sale. This is sold. I'm always looking to trade watches. So if you have something interesting, ping me. I'm always down to trade modern or vintage because I'll just turn those modern. This is exactly what happened. I traded out vintage pieces for modern pieces. I then traded those modern pieces for vintage pieces. So now I'm going back. So maybe I'll trade this for a modern piece. So if you have something interesting, we got box and papers. You've got your designated sleeve with your bracelet code. And of course, to break this watch down, it's a Rolex 16550A. So this right here will break down the rest of the watch.
That's like the build code. Every spec is in.
Yeah. Everything about this watch is built into this number and letters. It's just incredible how nice everything is. Like this watch really did like live in a safe somewhere.
It sure did. Look at the box condition as well. That's important.
Yeah, no, it's in excellent condition. Even the way it slides in, it doesn't even fall in. It just check this out. Even has the designated box code 5666 40mm Explorer. So that's the inventory number.
Marco, while we're in here, let's get an update on that pile of boxes over there.
Yeah, they're going back. They're not in good shape. I can't use those for the retail clients. Those are all, you know what? If there's a watch collector who's also a mechanic, those were his boxes because those things have grease all over them. They're in bad shape.
All right, well, we're shipping out a watch, and typically Sutton or Deja will do this, but Sutton's out sick. Deja has been extremely busy today. So sometimes you just got to get your hands dirty and do this yourself. So what we typically do, or what Deja will typically do, is, she'll clean off the watch, she'll wind it and set the time to the time zone of whatever the purchaser is. Then we put on a little grand caliber tag. And basically, if you remove that, it's not returnable. We do have a very short return policy. I'll be honest with you, I typically do this with gloves, but this is a repeat client that has seen this many times before. We'll give another clean right here. Close this up. We have a handwritten thank you card that Deja will write. We'll put that here. And what we started doing is a double box. So you'll see here, this is the inner box. Make sure that if the seal's broken, obviously take a look. These are measured to fit exactly into these boxes. Now keep in mind, I have to ship it here because there's that camera right up there that points on down. Take this watch here. So we're gonna put it in, tuck the sides, fold it over, close this up. This is a little tricky right here. I haven't figured out the best way to do this. So if someone knows a better way, but these are water activated. Hey, trying to film over here. What are you guys talking about?
Sorry about that. Hard to reply it.
There you go. Look at that.
Nice.
That's nice right there.
Soccer punt that all the way across the street.
Exactly. Now, the top, boom, close this baby up. Now, what's going to be really cool is earlier, I was talking about branded boxes. So this outer box is always going to be brown just because we don't want to ship blue grand caliber boxes and people know that there's a luxury watch in it. But the inside box, we do have some on the way that are branded blue with Grand Caliber's logo. I think that'll be really cool. Just a little bit of a nice touch. You know, when you're buying a luxury watch, sometimes, you know, the people here, you might get desanitized to it, meaning we work with watches every single day. Sometimes, you know, it might not seem like a big deal when you're holding a $10, $30, $40, $50,000 watch. A lot of times people are buying their first watches from us or first watch from us. And so I just want to make that experience a wonderful one. You know, I remember when I got my first luxury watch, I was super pumped, super excited. It was just a Panerai. But still, you know, a lot of people are buying their first watch from us, and we want to make sure that they get a really nice experience. And especially if they're not in the store, the best thing that we can do is make that unboxing feel a little bit more personal. So there you go. I would like to get to the point where I'm printing the labels on the side. We just started this process, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a label like this, slide this in there this way. But yeah, this is what it's gonna look like. You have the outer box, the inner box. I think it looks great. It'd be nice to just get one of those label printers and just print it on the side. This is how we box it up for retail clients. If you get a shipment that doesn't look like this, there could be a lot of things going on. We ship it different to dealers just because they don't get the white glove service like we give our retail clients. Sometimes if you are only buying a watch only with no box, it's a lot of bubble wrap to fit in a double box. So we ship that in a different box. It just varies. That's a shipment from Grand Caliber right here.
I got the watch. We can't deny the watch is sick. The watch is in excellent condition. My only caveat is the cream isn't quite where it should be, in my opinion. It's there, but it's kind of weird. Like, I want to pay strong, but then it's like, it's right there in the middle of the road. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like it hasn't.
It bothers me because it's not.
Yeah, I think it was locked in a safe and just never saw daylight.
No, dude, for sure. Yeah, I don't think this thing was ever worn. It's almost like NOS, but not really. It's got somewhere. It's almost like, has it just been handled so many times? It's short a couple. It was sized because somebody sized it, and then, you know, the links are missing.
That was me.
Oh, you sized it. Oh no.
I was gonna wear it one day, and I was like,
man,
I better not.
I wouldn't.
And then I put it back together.
I'm conflicted, you know what I mean? Like, I want to keep it, but then it's like, how do I price this watch? Because the way you price these watches are really based on the cream, you know what I mean? Like, if it was like heavy cream, you know, they're 30K plus, but then this is more like off-white, and it's like between a normal 16550 and like beginning to cream. I don't know, it's definitely up there. Where were we at on this? I know you
offered a Batman and 1500. You were thinking about that. Like, that's kind of where it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I need like a Batman like 2200.
Yeah, we're selling. Let's do this. Let's do. I'll tell you what. I'll come up. I like the watch. I'll come up 2K and I'll ship the Batman out today. How's that sound?
The Batman has a card, right?
No. Remember I told you it's a box set without the card.
Watch a box without a card. Okay.
Yeah. You should be able to sell that for $14.5, no problem. All right, cool. Yeah, it gets you out of this and gets you, because I know you're starting out, and I was trying to tell you, like, this is a hard piece to start out watch dealing with, bro.
It was one of those things. I walked in, they gave me like 12 grand for a diamond rhodium Datejust.
Damn.
They only wanted, they wanted like 16. I paid tax on that.
Yeah, that's what kicked your ass.
Now it's like, if you run across anything like that, like if I know, like, I'll call you, because this place, they get the most random
I'll send that out today, and I'll get you paid. Cool.
All right, cool.
All right, thanks,
All right,
man.
thanks.
All right, talk soon. All right, it's official. So I own this Crema 16550 or 16550. I'm happy with it. You guys tell me out there if you see any kind of wear and tear on this.
Excited for you, man. I really like that watch.
Yeah, I think it's I think it's an NOS Cream Dial Explorer. It just has like superficial handling marks. I don't see actual wear.
So the bracelet's stiff.
Oh, the bracelet's stiff.
How does the movement feel? Is it a little...
Buttery. You can listen to it. It's a little tight, barely, but it's overall no problem. It winds fine. Everything operates correctly. You guys know in the comments below if you're interested. Hit me with your trade offer. Best deal gets a public sold. Maybe not. I don't know.
All right, welcome back to another segment of Ask Us Anything. Matt, what do you got on the agenda for us this week?
RZ says, question for next week. Considering that the majority of your business, I would assume, is done through online sales, phone sales, and shipping out through FedEx, have you thought about investing more in your digital showroom and less on your physical showroom?
Absolutely. We are putting a lot of money into this. I think that's where we can really strive is our e-commerce. I actually spent a lot of time talking to various companies this week because there was an e-commerce convention in Dallas. So I learned a lot more about pros and cons of Shopify versus BigCommerce versus e-commerce like or WooCommerce versus Magento. So there's a lot of development that's happening, and hopefully you'll see a lot of that come out in mid-November just before the holidays.
Trevor Clark says, could you define when a watch becomes classed as vintage? Must be several factors.
So a watch is considered vintage. I'm going to use the car world as an example. I would say anything over 30 years old is already kind of leaning into the vintage world. They call the 90s stuff like neo-vintage, which is kind of like, it's between, the modern and the real vintage world. So, what really needs to apply there is age. The condition of the watch has nothing to do with the watch being vintage. You could have a brand new old stock watch from 35, 40 years ago, but it is still considered vintage just simply by age. So the way I would just put that is just really about how many years old that watch is.
John Conwell says, what would you say the best starter investment piece is?
So I'm definitely one of those people who do not call watches investments. I mean, they're definitely a great place to hold money. There's plenty of watches that are like decent watches to buy that you won't lose much if you do lose, that have super high potential to grow. If I get a client who comes in and they, are really adamant about an investment piece, I ask them their budget, and usually around 100K is where I say is a little bit more worth it if you want to just take that risk. I would say right now maybe a Platinum Daytona, just because of the market's so down that it's only bound to pick back up. Sub like $50,000 watches, they're not the best pieces to like hold specifically to make money.
Carlos says, Marco, can you go into more detail as to why you don't like the eBay authentication process?
My biggest beef with it is the stories I've heard of people getting some watches through and they said it was all good and clear, but then when I've looked at it, I right away catch that the bezel was swapped or the dial wasn't correct or the end links weren't correct, because I'm very much a numbers guy when it comes to these watches, making sure every part number is correct to the watch, everything is period correct and so on. And I noticed, with the eBay authentication, they're not necessarily like on point with that stuff. I think they do a decent job making sure that you have a real watch, but they don't do a good job, in my opinion, of making sure everything is period correct. Because, for example, if you bought a vintage Daytona, are they able to tell you, did it come with the right Mark 1, Mark 2, or Mark 3 bezel? I mean, these are things that are really, really important, especially when we're spending this type of money. Like, I want to be sure, as a consumer, that I'm going to get exactly what I paid for. And can you trust eBay? I don't know. I mean, maybe that's something they're still working out.
Danny Seminar says, besides Grand Caliber's YouTube channel and repeat customers, how does Grand Caliber generate new leads to grow the business?
Danny, thank you for being a valued client. I love the support. I see you in the comments every single week. There's a lot of ways we do this from a marketing perspective. I'm not sure if you're subscribed to our email marketing, but we do a lot of email marketing. We get more emails from our partnerships with, again, the Big 12, American Athletic Conference, and SMU. A lot of our sales team will go and network. That's why we go to trade shows. We'll be at IWJG. We don't have a booth, but we'll go and meet more dealers, expand our name. And then I also think just with the partnerships that we work with. So even though they're not confirmed partnerships, I talk to a ton of different potential partners. This is all possible because of SMU. So this could be, or possible because of Learfield, meaning the Big 12, SMU, and American Athletic Conference. Like I went and spoke with USC, I spoke to the Miami Dolphins, I spoke to the Milwaukee Bucks, I spoke to different sports agencies, I spoke to probably 50 different vendors. And when our name gets across to these vendors, when they have a client that needs something, watch related, who do you think they call? They come to us because we have a history of talking with them. We've talked about potential marketing deals, and so we're just usually top of mind. So a lot of the leads come from this. This is why when people think about our sports marketing, it's not just about the raw data like the SEOs and the transactions that come from that partnership. It opens a ton of doors where the more people you meet, the more businesses you talk to, the more your name and your brand carries across different platforms. So
Peter says, are there dealer groups that get together to manipulate the price of watches by buying up a lot of the pieces, then claiming low supply?
I have seen this before, yes, but it is not like a group of us doing that. It's typically guys in New York with deep pockets where we have seen certain companies buy up 40 to 60 to 80, Hulks, for example, when they thought they were going to discontinue them. So I think they usually do those type of plays whenever they think they're going to discontinue a watch. I mean, heck, you guys remember we bought up a bunch of John Mayers at one point thinking they were going to discontinue, and that blew up in our face because they did not discontinue them, and we had to get out of that situation. But no, that's not a game I typically like to play. I'm just focusing on buying and selling watches, and we're not really I'm not going to leverage any type of bet like that against the company because that's just way too risky. I mean, that's a very risky move.
Now That's Funky says, question, when will you start selling that awesome gold chain?
I'm hoping that I never have to sell them and I give them out as gifts for clients. But I mean, we can get anything you want made, whether you want it right now or not. So if you do want something like that, definitely hit us up. We can get custom pieces done.
Sweeping6 says, question, do you know any great companies that sell nice aftermarket watch straps for a decent price?
I just got a shipment of straps in. I always recommend Aaron Bespoke. That's where I get all of my straps from. Reasonable is very subjective. I don't know what reasonable is to you, but Aaron Bespoke will make straps that are fully customized. I think they start at like 150 and they can go up to 350 a strap. It really depends on the material that you use. Is it, gator? Is it ostrich? Is it Alcantara? I mean, he has a whole plethora of different materials, but I always buy my straps from Aaron Bespoke.
Miami James says, question for Marco, which modern Rolex dials will age or change color in the upcoming years?
Oh, very good question. I could never tell you that because we don't know. All we can do is wait. But if you ask me what I would speculate, I hope that the Panda Daytona turns, kind of cream, because I think that would be kind of a cool contrast. I hope the Blue Sunburst maybe turns purple in 30 years on the new 1266, 13, or 18. Obviously, the exotic dials would be interesting to watch over time, such as the Onyx dials and so forth on the Presidents, but typically Rolex is doing a really good job of making their watches age-proof in a sense, so we'll see what 30 years down the road looks like.
Chris Nelson says, do you do layaway with percentage down?
We don't do layaway, but I've been talking about revamping our e-commerce. There can be some opportunities in the near future of buy now, pay later, so just keep an eye out. We haven't confirmed anything, so I don't want to speculate and say something for sure, but we are looking at options.
PGHGO816 says, question for Marco. You have shown us many examples of Rolex's dials that have patinaed or changed colors within time. Have you heard of people trying to fake it or speed up the process, maybe by keeping the watch under intense UV or infrared lights 24/7? Does anyone know what makes the dials and bezels change color?
This is something that does come up a lot, and it's something that I do warn people. I've personally seen dials that I've looked at myself, and I've determined that this was altered. You can always tell they're altered because nothing ends up correct, or they end up damaging beyond what they're trying to do. An example, years ago I saw a cream dial Explorer which was clearly manipulated with heat, because when I looped it out, that watch should have white gold surrounds, but whenever you put a lot of heat to a dial, what's going to happen is you're going to affect the metal, you're going to affect everything else, and when you look at the metal and you start looking at the lume plots, you can see that they were hit with heat. It's hard to explain what that looks like, but it's something you'll know when you see it. For example, on the white gold, It should be a nice high polish, but when you look at it after it's been treated with heat, you'll notice that it's discolored. It's got, you know, almost this like rainbow effect going on with it. You can just tell that it's been hit with heat, and the rest of the dial is obviously like aggressively changed to another color. That's always a red flag. If something is patinaed, you know, it should be a more of like a natural look. Everything should be clean and copacetic. There shouldn't be excessive wear on the lume plots and then excessive color discoloration, because that would just tell me the dial was just exposed to something excessively. And we, you know, everybody knows these watches don't hang out in the sun 24/7, or vice versa, or it's just water damaged. I just sold the Daytona today that was, you know, water damaged out. It looks cool, but it's damaged at that point. So to go back to that question, it is something to be aware of when you're buying vintage, but really when you're buying vintage watches, always buy the seller. Do not just go for the watch, because that seller could be somebody that nobody knows. It could be somebody who's forging stuff. You just have to be really, really careful in the vintage world. That's why I think a lot of credibility goes into it. So just be careful out there when it comes to vintage. You guys are always welcome to reach out to me on Instagram. If you're buying something vintage and you just want me to kind of like oversee it, I don't mind helping people out. I do it all the time anyways.
That is another week for us here at Grand Caliber. I appreciate everyone supporting our channel. I know that sometimes the content can vary, but we are working really hard to improve our content moving forward. Marco, Matt, our whole team sat down and talked about what we want to shoot moving forward. It's gonna take some time to get where we wanna go, but we're excited about what the future holds. See you next week.